Hello, and welcome to PS10 Radio. This is your host, Angeline, and today is an episode of Self Care. Over the past week, I have spoken with quite a few people, and they've just been dealing with the stressors of life in many different ways. But it never fails when you have a rough week. That's when you just feel the most stressed out, the most disorganized. You procrastinate, you're trying to avoid, you're trying to deal with things, so you're overwhelmed, and you just feel like, I just need to do something different, or this isn't working out for me. It's just a multitude of different thoughts that go through your head, like even self-doubt, or feeling like you just don't have what it takes to complete a task, or to be the best mother, or the best father, or the best partner, or the best friend, or the best daughter or son, or anything like that. You just kind of feel defeated, like, I just can't get through things. So we looked at an article on bhc.media, and the article was by Erica Yvonne, and it was called Resilience Amidst Setbacks: How to Bounce Back After a Rough Week. So this is a great article that kind of encourages you to move forward. And she kind of points out in the article that it's important to have an effective strategy for bouncing back. So this is kind of like your proactive preparation for if I ever come to a time where I feel like I just want to quit, or I just want to give up, or I just feel like I'm not good enough, or I didn't do enough, or I'm incapable of completing something or being what I need to be at this moment. This is your go-to kind of plan strategy that you can go to and say, you know what, let me try one of these things before I go that route, because it's easy to do. But when you try these things, you actually can build resilience. You can reboot and refresh yourself. And a lot of times you realize that, I do have the strength. I just needed that pause, that break, that rest before I made any decisions or did anything. So the first one she points out is sleep. There has been so much research and commentaries on how important sleep is, especially to our physical health, but also to our mental and emotional health. We need sleep, even if it's just a nap, or if it's a long, you know, making sure you go to bed early, or sleeping in a little later. I know a lot of times, even for myself, I tend to reserve the morning time as my exercise time. And I was really beating myself up over the fact that, okay, alarm. I set my alarm at 5:30, but I didn't really roll out of bed till 6. Well, I needed to be done working out by 6. So then I wasn't working out because I was like, I need to be out of the house by 7. So I need this time to, like, everything just kind of snowballed and was pushed back because I did not wake up on time. So I decided, oh, okay, I'm going to put my alarm on at 5. That didn't work out for me. I snoozed for like 55 minutes. So that again did not work. Set the time for 5:15. Okay. All right. And then I told myself mentally, like, I can snooze until 5:30, but 5:30 I got to get up. I did that for a long time. But I will say, even though I felt good that I was actually getting up and exercising, I was exhausted by midday. I'm not going to say that little 15 minutes or half an hour, whatever, was the number one factor, but I do feel like it just was so much pressure on myself that I, would beat myself up if I did not get up to exercise in the morning. So then I decided I would just use that time to do like something light, like yoga or my mindfulness meditation. Well, it helped a little bit, and I was able to feel more refreshed for a little longer. But then by the end of the workday, I was exhausted. It was as though making myself wake up at 5:15 was just too restrictive. Like I mentally, even though I was giving myself a break, saying you're really getting up at 5:30, like you initially wanted to do, I still like mentally knew like I'm getting up at 5:15, and it's so early. So, needless to say, now what I do is I still wake up at like 5:30, 5:55, have my alarm at that time, but I just go ahead. If I feel like working out, I do. If I don't, I don't, and I don't beat myself up over it. I'll just do it another day, or maybe do it later in the evening, or do more on the weekend. So I just do it for another time. But anyways, the point is I try to value my sleep. So I want to feel refreshed and joyful in the morning, not irritated and um, judging myself and ridiculing myself that I didn't do what I wanted to do. And I want to give myself a break. I don't want to be another pressure for myself that I didn't do it. And then I'm upset with myself that, well, when am I going to sleep? Because after work I have so much other things that I have to do, take people to appointments, pick people up and take them to practices and things like that. So I don't have time after school. So when am I going to do it? So, and I don't know about you, but I really don't like going to bed early. I feel like, oh, I'm missing out on something. I may not. I may veggie out for another hour, but and watch nothing, that entertaining, or maybe just watch a lot of entertaining stuff for another hour, stuff that I could watch anytime. But I just feel like that going to bed early, just I don't know, it's like a bummer. Okay, number two, she says to treat yourself to self care. So do something for yourself. Pamper yourself. Take that bath, that long bath with the candlelight, the smell goods, the bath bombs. Get your hair done, try a new hairstyle, your nails done. Go to the nail shop and let them, do um, the massages on your legs and feet and hands and arms. Really let them pamper you, get that massage, or just read and watch a feel good story, something that you know that you really enjoy, that you like, something light that's not going to cause you to do a lot of thinking, or nothing dramatic that's going to cause you to like emotionally um, go into a deeper place. You don't want to psych yourself out with psychological thrillers or anything like that, unless it's comforting for you. But, a lot of times those are more entertaining than comforting, but do something that makes you feel good. Number three, she says to socialize with your friends. A lot of times we just go through things by ourselves, and we need that reminder of, people who are your friends. They support you and they are there for you. And so if you're going through a rough time, they could be distracting to you and be someone that you can laugh with and do something with that can totally take you away from those stressors, or they could be someone you can vent to, and that will elicit them, or to really help them to chime in as your friend, be like, I support you and I'm here for you and I don't want you to go through this alone. And it's just good to connect with your friends. So we need reminders of that oftentimes, a lot of times, that certain people are your friends and they're there for you. But it is very important to make sure that you're connecting with your friends, and it helps you to be resilient, because then you're not alone. Number four, spend time on your hobby. So if there's something that you're really into or that you haven't done in a while, go ahead and take time to focus on that, even if it's just for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I know I have heard of, like, sometimes my friends talking about maybe crocheting or knitting or something like that, and how soothing and relaxing that is. I mean, I've seen people bring that stuff to meetings when we were doing in-person meetings, and I would see different colleagues, they would have like their little bags and have this yarn, and while the speaker is speaking, instead of writing or anything like that, they looked like they weren't paying attention. But from what I'm hearing, especially someone who needs to kind of like multitask or who's really fidgety, that's really helpful to help them to focus on what they're listening to by doing something with their hands and keeping their hands busy. But needless to say, if you haven't ever knitted or did any crochet or any kind of painting or putting any crafts together, like this may be the time to do that when you're feeling very stressed and overwhelmed after a rough week that you just like, ugh, I'm just so frustrated. So it can be relaxing, it can release your mind, it just makes you feel good. It's not anything that it doesn't have to be perfect. No judgment on yourself. You're doing something you enjoy, and it's also stimulating. So you want to make sure that you're not doing anything that makes you feel worse than how you already feel. Number 5, exercise. Again, you just want to make sure that you're paying attention to your body. So do your favorite exercise. Don't try something new or something that's very strenuous to you that doesn't make you feel good afterwards or that takes a lot out of you. You just want to get your blood flowing and get your body moving so that you can and release those endorphins and those happy hormones and get that energy out. I always tell people that I work with, it's okay if you're feeling frustrated. It's okay to feel overwhelmed or angry. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to feel that because that lets you know something is wrong and something you need to do something different or something needs to change or that you need to take a break. It's okay. It's a sign for you. So being in tune with your body and knowing what is too much and knowing what your body needs and getting that energy out, that's important. So if you're feeling rough, like you're having a rough week or you're upset about something, it's okay. Get it out. Get it out by going for a walk or doing a exercise video that you like or doing some yoga. Maybe you need to stretch. Just make sure that you're paying attention to your sensations in your body and what you're feeling. Number 6 was remind yourself of why you love to do what you do. So especially if, you're having a rough week, not just personally like at home, but why you're doing the job that you're doing, whether it be a clerk or being a customer service rep or being a frontline worker or doing any kind of entrepreneur work. Why do you do it? Like, what is your why? And kind of get back to that. And if you're doing something that is totally not something that you want to do, get into maybe what is my why and how can I make the goals to reach the career that I want to actually do, and would that make me happy and why, and reflect on that. Maybe even talk to somebody about it or interview somebody that's doing what you want to do to get a good indication of if you want to go in that direction. And number 7, make resilience a part of your life. Accept it for what it is. Like I said, it's okay to be mad. It's okay to have a rough week. It's okay to be overwhelmed because that just lets you know that you're doing too much. If you don't realize that mentally, you are going to feel it emotionally when you're like crying and you're like, I don't know why I'm crying. Well, because you may be overwhelmed. You may be doing too much. Maybe too much is going on. Maybe you have your hands in too many pots. Maybe you're juggling too many roles and responsibilities. Maybe you need to delegate. Maybe you need to let something go. Maybe you need to actually focus on one thing. Don't necessarily look at it as a negative thing. You can be resilient. Resilience is beautiful. Resilience is powerful. Resilience is independence, responsible. It's growth. So don't shy away from it. Lean into it. It's okay. Accept it for it's a rough time. And then you can look at, okay, this is what I need to do to feel better. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Self Care. really looking at how to bounce back and have resilience after a rough week. As always, be the best you that you can be, one positive step at a time. Peace.